I think what people first believe is holiness is being better than other people in our works.
Yeah.
And we immediately start thinking there's a works righteousness going on.
Define holiness for me. I know what holiness is. I want to hear your definition. My definition of holiness is simple. It's set apart. It's being set apart, just as Christ is set apart. If someone asked you to define holiness, how would you define holiness?
Yes, I would begin with that whole idea of being set apart, because I think what people first believe is holiness is being better than other people in our works.
Yeah.
And we immediately start thinking there's a works righteousness going on. But no, it's being set apart so that we might be able to imitate God. And in imitating him, we want to imitate his character.
Yeah.
And how do I imitate God's character? Well, he gave us the 10 Commandments. He's given us all kinds of commands throughout his word. He's commanded us how we're supposed to love our children. He's commanded us how we're supposed to love our wives, how wives are supposed to respect their husbands. All the work of family work, all the work of even knowing this, that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So that knowledge is never neutral. Well, all those things revolve around, how do I imitate? And I imitate through imitating his character. This was so important to Paul. Paul even said, look, if you're not getting this, imitate me, because I'm trying to imitate Christ. So imitate me, do what I'm doing, because I'm trying to do what Christ is doing. And it does require an absolute commitment to the reality of God's word, not the addition of God's word, but the reality of God's word. So Martin Luther put it this way. He believes that God's word was God speaking reality into being. And so just like in Genesis, when God says, let there be light, light had to exist at that moment because God spoke reality into being.
Yeah.
And Luther said that doesn't stop after creation. It keeps on going. So when God says any other thing throughout his word, he is speaking those things into being. Those things are absolutely true. He is describing and speaking reality into being through his word, which makes his word the foundation of all reality, because that's how he spoke to us. Which means then that being set apart requires us to obey. It requires it. It's not obedience to, and this is, I don't want to get all philosophical on you, but it's not that we live in this world where there's these principles out here and then God came in and he wants us to live this way, and so we kind of cater to what he wants, although there's these more fundamental principles out here. Mm-hmm. If that were the case, then yes, we'd all have to be Pharisees in order to obey God, because there's more fundamental principles than God out there. But the truth is there's nothing more fundamental than God. So obedience to the Lord is the most healthy thing you can possibly do. And that holiness is what's going to drive your kids to the most important part about learning, which is being interested in what they're learning.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine a kid that may not be too interested in math, but he loves God so much that if you say, well, there's actually a biblical worldview of math, and suddenly they're gaining interest in math because they love God, and they love his character, so they love his word. And that interest then becomes that catalyst for every subject you teach that gets your kid interested.
Yeah. I love that you keep bringing up math because math truly is, I mean, it's one of those subjects that people think, well, how can I teach math from a biblical worldview? It's simple. God is a God of order, not chaos. And when you look at the order of math and how math makes sense, like any mathematical problem only makes sense because of God. I mean, if man tried to create math, can you imagine what a mess it would be? It would never make sense, ever.
No.
But God is so wise and so structured that he made math. I mean,
That's
and
right.
even though I don't enjoy teaching math, I appreciate math, and I understand that it really does help us to see the holiness of God. Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.